Tonight, Dave's all new with The Rock, plus Liz Fair, and the top 10 questions you're afraid to ask, Condoleezza Rice. Tonight, now your local news.
We have two big stories tonight, including an accident on the runway at Bradley that shut down the airport. Good evening, I'm Denise DeCenzo.
I'm Dennis House. The airport shut down in just a moment, but first, a shootout inside a Shoreline store that has injured two people tonight.
Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Paisley Chang joins us live with the mobile newsroom in East Haven with how a store owner took the law into his own hands. Paisley?
Denise, police say three men thought this was going to be an easy heist, but then everything changed when the store owner fought back. Police say the owner of this business, New Haven Provisions, was approached by two men outside his store around 7 o'clock tonight. With at least one person holding a gun, they tried to rob the owner and shot him in the leg. Instead of giving in, police say the store owner pulled out his own gun and shot at the robbers. One robber was hit in the shoulder. Police say a third person then picked up the two suspects and sped down Fox and Boulevard. Moments after the attempted robbery, police were called to Yale New Haven Hospital, where a man with a gunshot wound walked into the emergency room. The getaway car was left at the entrance. With the help of the New Haven police and specially trained police dogs, they found the other two suspects and arrested them. People who know the store owner but declined to talk on camera commend him for fighting back, which police say is not against the law.
You're entitled to self-defense. In Connecticut, a person can use reasonable force to defend themselves.
Now, this driveway is where police say the shooting happened. They're still investigating this, but something they want to find out is if the robbers knew the owner before tonight. We are told that both the owner and the suspect are being treated at area hospitals, the suspect at Yale New Haven Hospital, and the owner is recovering at St. Raphael's Hospital. Reporting live tonight from East Haven, Paisley Cheng, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
In East Hartford, the manhunt is underway right now for three armed men who forced their way into a home. It happened on Central Avenue around 6:30. Police are telling Eyewitness News 3 men carrying handguns just broke in. There's no word yet on what they got away with. Nobody was injured. Police are still searching for the suspects.
Some frightening moments tonight at Bradley International Airport. A collision on the taxiway involving a commuter plane and a truck sent fuel flying and closed the airport for almost an hour. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Len Bestoff is joining us live with the mobile newsroom in Windsor Locks right now with the latest. Len.
Well, Denise, what Bradley Airport people here are saying is that the fuel truck and the plane, which was coming from Syracuse, collided on the taxiway at about 6:45 tonight. But exactly how this happened and how it left this airport at a standstill remains a mystery. The dark and stormy night wasn't what forced Diane Barillero's brother's plane to be diverted to Boston.
Not knowing exactly what was going on, kind of a little nerve-wracking, because then I heard about that accident.
That accident was a fuel truck owned by Aircraft Service International Group that collided with U.S. Air Flight 4997, operated by Colgan Air. None of the 17 passengers or crew members on the plane or the truck driver suffered serious injuries. The plane was damaged on its left side between the cockpit and the wing.
Was there a fear of fire or explosion, I guess?
Yeah, I think initially, as in most incidents of this type, I guess you'd call it maybe the fear of the unknown, not knowing exactly what could occur when you have an incident in a collision and there's fuel involved.
Fire crews from Bradley International, Windsor Locks, Windsor, East Granby, Suffield, and the Connecticut Air National Guard all came to contain the jet fuel that spilled and secure the area while the airport was shut down. It kept many people, like Laura Crenshaw of Tennessee, locked up in her plane on the tarmac for up to an hour.
Very, very frustrating. All they could tell us was that a plane was on the ground and was at the airport and lost its fuel. And so they would not let us get any closer till they had that all cleaned up.
Now, by about 8 o'clock, the incident with this Beechcraft turboprop was cleared up for the most part, and the airport was reopened. But still, there are investigators that are out here from the Federal Aviation Administration and the Connecticut Department of Environmental Protection. We're live in Windsor Locks. Len Bestoff, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
And Eyewitness News is following a big developing story tonight involving the weather. 2 days of heavy rain now has rivers all across the state on the rise. In fact, just a short time ago, the National Weather Service issued a flood warning for towns along the Connecticut River. Channel 3 Chief Meteorologist Bruce DePrest is live in the Early Warning 3 Weather Center right now with what to expect. Bruce.
Well, Dennis, snow melt up north combined with heavy rain over the last couple of days is causing the Connecticut River to rise quickly, and a river flood warning, as you said, has been issued by the National Weather Service. Let's go to the maps. With the exception of Danbury, the rest of the state has picked up anywhere between 2 and 4 inches of rain. That includes yesterday and today's rainfall. Look at Groton coming in with 3.57 inches of rain, and Hartford 2.4 inches of rain, New Haven 2.78 inches of rain. Now, there is a river flood warning in effect for the Connecticut River at Hartford. Flood stage will be reached by 8 o'clock in the morning. Flood stage in Hartford is at 16 feet, and flood stage at Middletown will likely be reached by Friday morning at 6 a.m. And the river will continue to rise over the weekend, possibly going higher than 4 feet above flood stage with a minor to moderate flood expected. Coming up, if more rainfall will aggravate the river situation.
A West Haven woman is under arrest tonight, charged with working as a nurse without a license. 44-year-old Mary Walpole Nichols worked in 2 nursing homes over the past 8 years, even becoming a supervisor. Prosecutors tell Eyewitness News Walpole Nichols doctored an actual state nursing license to fool her employers. She's due in court next week.
11 teenage girls from Manchester and East Hartford are coming out with some shocking allegations tonight. They say they have all been raped by boys in a gang. East Hartford police say they are surprised about these complaints. In recent weeks, 2 teenage girls reported being sexually assaulted, and during the attacks, they were victimized by more than one person. However, East Hartford police now say those reports differ from the reports taken by the YWCA, which is counseling the girls.
We have researched all of our sexual assault cases for the last 30 days and have found no evidence or disclosure by victims that any of the assaults were gang-related in any way.
Now, the East Hartford Police Department is looking to arrange a meeting with the YWCA to try to learn more about these 11 reported rapes.
An East Hartford man is accused tonight of sexually assaulting a 10-year-old girl. 32-year-old Greg Miller was arrested earlier this week. Police say the alleged assault took place in a home. Miller has been charged with 4 counts of sexual assault.
The Board of Selectmen in Stonington wants the first selectman to resign. Peter Dibble was arrested on Monday and charged with risk of injury to a minor. Police are not releasing any details about what Dibble is accused of doing, but Dibble's colleagues say he needs to go.
In light of what you have been accused of, I feel you have lost the faith and confidence of the people who elected you.
Through his attorney, Dibble has said he has no plans of resigning. He's due back in court 1 week from today.
Police have now identified a body found in Middletown as that of a missing Hartford man. Members of the Wesleyan crew team discovered the body of 49-year-old Patrick McCarthy in the Connecticut River yesterday afternoon near Harbor Park. The medical examiner says McCarthy drowned. He disappeared in late January.
The 9/11 Commission is looking forward to hearing what National Security Advisor Condoleezza Rice has to say. Rice will go before the panel to rebut criticism that the White House failed to act on threats from al-Qaeda. The commission will focus on what exactly was known by the outgoing Clinton White House. Rice will testify 1 week from today.
Meanwhile, the FBI is warning Americans tonight of a new terror threat. It says terrorists may be trying to slip past customs using P visas, and these are used by people to enter the country for artistic, cultural, or athletic purposes. Now, in the past, spies and defectors would tag along with performers or foreign athletic teams to gain entry.
A videotaped beating of some teenage prisoners at a California lockup has lawmakers calling for an investigation. We want to warn you, some of the images you're about to see are disturbing. The images are fuzzy and the reasons for this beating even less clear. But if you look to the bottom right side of this videotape, you can see a prison guard punching one of his young inmates as other guards use mace and water bombs to put down another.
And then he was also with the closed fist. He was hit him like in his kidneys, and he continued to do drops on his back.
It happened at a juvenile facility in California in January, but officials have released the tape now to pressure the Attorney General into prosecuting the guard.
Once the ward is brought under control, there is a line that can be crossed between self-defense and then the pummeling.
An Internal Affairs unit found that the officers relied on excessive force and lied to investigators about what happened. But the tape doesn't show what happened before this started. behind the doors where the guards say the inmates attacked them. Don Spector of the Prison Law Office says guards have a right to defend themselves up to a point.
What they should be doing instead of punching them is handcuffing the ward, restraining them, and then removing them from the area.
Local authorities said they could not prove a crime occurred after all the guards involved invoked their Fifth Amendment rights. California's Attorney General is still deciding whether to take on this case.
He tried to get away with murder, and for a while it worked. How his victim caught him from the grave.
2 days and counting until Yukon takes the floor in the Final Four. We'll show you a side of the Huskies you haven't seen before.
And coming up, what you could expect when you walk out the door in the morning for the Friday morning commute, and when we'll probably see some snow in Connecticut.
Just ahead, what caused dozens of cars to pile up, shutting down a major interstate.
Why access to your cell phone number could be as easy as dialing 411 tomorrow, 5 to 8.
This is WFSB Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 11. Eyewitness News is everywhere.
And Eyewitness News is in northern Colorado right now, where 120 fire crews are battling a wildfire. The Picnic Rock Fire has now grown to 3,500 acres. There appears to be no end in sight to the fire. Winds are pushing it toward homes. Over 100 people have already been evacuated. There is some good news from forecasters, though. A cold front is expected to move into the Rocky Mountain state, bringing rain and possible snow.
Traffic is moving again on Interstate 15, the main highway between L.A. and Las Vegas, after a 66-car pileup. 5 vehicles exploded into flames and trucks jackknifed as 24 people were hurt. Amazingly, no one seriously. Police say heavy fog is to blame.
Police now have a sketch of the kidnapper wanted for snatching a student at the University of Wisconsin. Victim Audrey Sealer was questioned by police, who hope to find out more about the man she says kidnapped her at knife point. Authorities returned to the marsh today, where they found Sealer and searched for clues that would hopefully lead them to the suspect. In the meantime, Sealer's family is happy to have her back home.
You know, we're just very happy to be reunited with Audrey, and she's happy to be with us.
Authorities said earlier they believe whoever took Sealer may still be in Madison. And if he's there, police are promising to find him.
Manslaughter is among the charges facing a Boston man after he killed another man with his SUV. Stanley Faloma killed James Grabowski when he drove over him during a post-Super Bowl celebration in Boston. Faloma was drunk and speeding at the time, police say. Faloma was indicted on 14 counts, including leaving the scene of an accident and causing a death.
A money for grades scandal at the nation's biggest historically black college could cost some students their degrees. A report sent to the DA's office in Louisiana indicates a registrar at Southern University accepted money to change grades. Southern has begun contacting now more than 500 people implicated in the scandal.
Singer Michael Jackson was honored in Washington tonight, far away from his legal troubles in California. Jackson received an award for his work fighting AIDS in Africa.
I thank everybody who came tonight and all the women of Africa, and I want you to know that I've been going to Africa since I was 12 years old, and I love it very much, and I take my children.
Now, during the presentation, a children's choir performed Jackson's hit Heal the World. After the song, Jackson hugged and kissed some of the children. Jackson is awaiting trial on charges of molesting a boy at his Neverland Ranch in California.
DNA technology has become an important tool in fighting crime. In tonight's Forensic Files, Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Jamie Roth shows us how DNA helped catch the killer of a microbiologist who was a pioneer in the field.
Helena Greenwood's husband came home to find her strangled. It looked like a robbery homicide, but with money and valuables left behind, police believed the scene was staged.
They knew who killed Helena Greenwood, and they knew it was David Paul Frediani, but they couldn't prove it.
The assault case against 42-year-old accountant Frediani went forward. Faced with fingerprint evidence, he pleaded no contest and was sentenced to 5 years in prison. But the murder case was stalled due to lack of evidence. Tissue found beneath Helena's fingernails was too small for forensic comparison. In the years that followed, Helena's parents passed away. Her husband died of cancer. But Helena's company continued the DNA research she began, and in 1998, scientists achieved bold new developments in DNA technology. The most important was polymerase chain reaction, or PCR.
The big advantage of PCR for forensic work is that it is so sensitive.
And as for that small piece of tissue beneath Helena's fingernail, it matched David Frediani. In fact, PCR testing showed that the odds someone else killed her was 1 in 23 billion.
David Frediani believed he could get away with murder, and for a while it worked. He never imagined that science would come back to get him, and it did. Frediani was found guilty of murder and sentenced to life in prison. With Forensic Files, I'm Jamie Roth, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
In a preliminary briefing, federal regulators say power companies followed the rules when they sold natural gas at higher prices during that January cold snap. Questions arose after power companies sold their natural gas rather than using it to generate electricity. The investigation is not yet complete. The commission is still looking into whether energy companies manipulated the market.
It may look just like any other SUV on the road, but Ford is boasting the Escape as the first American hybrid. The Escape uses a gasoline engine, an electric motor, and a big battery hidden in the back. It produces a quieter, cleaner ride. Honda and Toyota have been on the hybrid market for years, and their versions have been hot sellers. But the downside is the hefty price tag.
It's all a matter of cost. Are you going to make back $4,000 in fuel economy savings in the time that you're going to own the car? For most people, the answer is no.
But Ford is hoping for a yes. GM and Toyota are expecting to launch their hybrid SUVs later this year.
Accurate, dependable. Now, Eyewitness News early warning weather. Here's Chief Meteorologist Bruce DePrest.
Well, good evening, everybody. Good news, the heavy rain is over. We do have some spotty light rain showers right around Groton and New London, and a little bit of drizzle up around East Hartland, Connecticut now. But the heavy rain is off to our north, and from here on in, I don't expect any heavy rain. And it looks like the runoff will keep the Connecticut River rising, but at least heavy rain will not aggravate the situation even further. Let's go outside to Hartford, where we have gray skies and the streets are still very wet, but thank goodness the deluge is over. Hartford is 43, Torrington 38, Bolton coming in with 37 on the hilltop. And looking at the live shots of New Haven, the rain is over as well, and we still have wet roads there. Meriden 42, New Haven 44, and Groton exactly the same. The heavy rain, and it's really pounding areas like Boston out up toward Concord, New Hampshire, is now to the north of Connecticut. And you can see off to our southeast where all this wet weather is coming from, there's not much going on. As the night goes on, a few showers and some areas of drizzle will be working up across the state, but again, nothing really heavy. We have that storm system, that big wagon wheel, pinwheel, centered right around Washington, D.C.